Hey guys, how are you? Thank you for coming. I was sitting here talking to Brittany and Robin and looked down at the 6:01. I'm like, oh well, I'm late. Story of my life these days. So what you guys been up to? I feel like I've been on a roller coaster just going around and around and around. It never gonna stop. That's what I feel like. Not complaining. I love doing this dizzy, but at the same time, I'm too old to do this dizzy. So let's see who we have here. We have Lee. Lee takes out the trash and the recycle, puts out foods and snacks, places soft drinks and various waters on the table, with white dark and milk chocolate fountains, pretzels, marshmallows, and fruit for everyone's snack. Welcome to Ellen. Welcome to Don Penny with NND Penny. Come on in. Grab a snack. Hit the like button on the way to your seat. Good job, Lee. You messed up the deal, dude. Let's see. We got Helen. Hi, Helen. How are you? And we got, yeah, Luke and Lee and Lenore always. They do. I was so happy to talk to them. I haven't talked to them much this week. Thank you for the heart, Helen. I appreciate that. Hi, Mr. Rich. How are you? I talked to you briefly today, and that's that time that I had, but you didn't really work. I lost my place. Hi, Dick. How are you? I haven't talked to you much this week either. I haven't talked to anybody. Hi, man. Thank you for coming. Let's see. Yeah, tell them all about you the death hurt. And if you're feeling down or you're just feeling happy, it doesn't matter. Helen did just the heart, and I love that. You didn't dare to slowly. I was wondering how you feeling it. Hi, little angel. How are you? Thank you for coming. And there's Eve. And yeah, I know I was a minute late, so now I'm not starting it, but well, it did read just like that death that I was talking to Brittany and Robin having a dinner time, and it was 6:01. Let's see, we got Nut Nut. Hi, Nut Nut. How are you? I swear, Nut Nut is another lie that I can never catch on time that I watch replays. I do. Let's see. Hi, Dale. How are you? Thank you for coming. And let's see, Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Michelle, how you been? I haven't talked to you in I don't know how long it's been. Been a while. Okay, well, so today we've got Brittany and Robin, or Sparkling Diamonds with Brittany and Robin on here. I've been wanting to have them on for, geez, a long time. Hi, Nell, you lurking? I don't know, Nils. You lurking make me nervous. How you doing? I haven't talked to you today. But yeah, I've been wanting to have them on for a while, and I don't know. I've had so many people on here, and I've been busy. I know Robin's been doing her schoolwork, so I thought, well, I'll do the time to graduate, which she had, and I'm going to let her tell us all about it. So, oh, where did the you making tacos? Yeah, I'll pass it. I don't make tacos. So, are you ready to do it in Robin? I am. All right, here we go.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. You can blame us for making you late.
Yeah.
It's true. It was our fault.
Okay, well, nah, I'll take that. Yeah. I've been late all day today, just all day. I woke up late. I started on that today and did that make a difference. But So how are you, Dad?
We're good.
We're good, busy. We understand about life just being.
Feeling like a whirlwind.
Yeah.
It does.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
It does. It just seems like it never slows down. Not complaining. I do love it, but wow.
I complain some days.
Yes, you can play. Well, it's just that my mom told me the other day, she said, if you don't slow down, I said, I know. I'll slow down in next year. Maybe.
I
So,
always say it can be worse, so I try not to complain.
you know what? I used to be home by myself, well, mom, but I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't do anything before I came down painting. And it was a lonely world, and it's not lonely anymore. And I told Mom, I said, when you wake up and you have a list of people, I have to make a list to call. That's how many friends I have, and it's not a bad place to be. It's not really.
Yeah, Tammy, you're an inspiration. I tell you what, you are a huge inspiration.
It's a good problem to have.
Thank you. It is a good problem to have. And I think that Robin, I don't know how, and we make the little joke when we talk about, not joke that you went to school, just we don't know how in the world to you maintain your channel and you went to school at the same time. How did you find time because it seems like you're always on the air, and I'm like, what you do? Be on the air and study at the same time? Because I know she talked to us because I talk to her all the time. So how
Well,
do you do all?
I'll be honest. Brittany does most of the work for the channel, and I'm not saying this in like a in like to be a bragging way, but I didn't think getting my doctorate was that hard at the end. In the beginning, that first semester, it was really hard. But as it went on, it got so much easier. And then just graduating was just a blessing. But our channel, Brittany, it's really Brittany that does all the work. It's not me. Well, if it was me, we wouldn't be here.
I think her biggest stressor was the last semester was you have to defend your project. And so you have to go in front of I can't remember all the people you have to go in front of and basically defend your project and explain it, how it worked and how the outcomes were and stuff like that. I think that was her biggest worry the whole time the last semester. So
and work on getting it published. That's a lot of stress. Yeah.
Wow. I'm proud of you. I am. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I know. And Eve
I like Eve.
I love Eve.
She said we need to set up an appointment.
With that, Eve, anyone has to try to remember who I'm supposed to call on what day. But hi, Kathy and Arden, thank you for coming. And my sister is a principal. And well, she started out, she's a teacher, and then she's on the rank 1, then she's on the rank 2, then she went for assistant principal, and then principal, and she said, I'm happy to say I finished my last and final day of school, and it's a lot of work. It is. So, did you practice too? Your job? Did you?
Yeah. I worked full time. Yeah.
Wow. So how long did it take to get your doctorate once you start?
It was 2 years. So I already had 2 masters, a master's in nursing education, and then obviously my psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner masters. So I had 2 masters. So I had to do 2 more years to get my doctorate.
Get your doctorate. Wow.
Yeah.
So
But you know, Tammy, though, you know what? This is really ironic, and people may not believe this, but at the end of the school, I went to Duke University, for those of you who don't know, and that's a big deal. Only like 1% of the people that apply to Duke gets in. And so I graduated from Duke University, and I'm proud to say that. But you want to know, I'm proud that I got my doctorate. But the thing I'm most proud of is there's something called the Daisy Award. Like I've got
it's at your office.
yeah, it's at the office, but it's called the Daisy Award. And what it is there's only one person that you can get it at a hospital, or in this case a student got it, and I got the Daisy Award. And what that means is that you're somebody that's recognized for providing compassion and care to your patients and to the community. And that to me was a bigger deal than getting my doctorate. The fact that I was recognized as this compassionate, caring person. So I am more proud of the Daisy Award than I am of my doctorate.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. That is a big accomplishment, because that goes to show that you're good at what you do and you're compassionate. And it takes a compassionate person to do your job. I think you done a very hard job. And I need she's a nurse. She's an oncology pediatric nurse.
Ooh, that's a hard job.
It's a hard specialty.
Yeah, and she got accepted into the pediatric nurse practitioner program. So she counted in the same thing you're doing. And she took in 110%. And it's hard. But that is, I'm proud of you, Robin, for doing that.
Thank you, Tammy. Now, the psychiatric nurse practitioner program was way harder than the doctorate program. That program is hard. That was hard. That was more difficult than my master's in nursing education. That program.
I remember she had to. You have to do so many hours a semester in clinical. So basically, you're working and not getting paid. Basically for. It was like 100 and something hours. Was that a semester or a year?
It was actually a total around 300 hours total in the whole program. And the first semester we have to spend with a primary care doing primary care. And I've done mental health my whole 30 years of being a nurse. And so being in a primary care clinic, I knew zero of what I was doing. But after that first semester, everything else is mental health related. And I'll talk about mental health all day long, and I'm good at mental health, and I say I'm good at my job, and I am good at my job, and I love my job. I don't ever see myself stopping doing what I do, and that's the one thing you'll always hear me say. I'm a good mom, and I'm a good psychiatric nurse practitioner.
I like the opposite side. I actually want to go back and become a nurse practitioner. Either a family nurse practitioner or a pediatric nurse practitioner. Probably a family nurse practitioner is probably where I lean to, but.
Thank you. So what do you work at, like, I don't know what you do. I'll be honest, I don't.
It's okay. Trust me, you're not the only. Even when I tell people the title, I still sometimes have to explain it, and even then they still don't. So I work as a trauma registrar for Duke, which is a level 1 trauma center. And what that means is if any trauma happens in the area or even outside of our area and they need to get a higher level of care, they sometimes will get sent to us. And so anybody who's designated a trauma. And so for us, like a trauma designation is like if you're in a car accident, unfortunately, like gunshot wounds, stabbings, but also like falls or bike accidents, anything like that, that's technically considered a trauma. And so then basically what I spend my day doing is we're assigned patients and I have to abstract everything out of their chart and document like all the care we gave them, all their injuries, what happened to them on the scene, things like that. So that's basically the entirety of my job. So.
Wow.
But then she works for me.
Oh yeah. That I have several hats. I do work for her as her office manager. I'm also a certified medical biller and a registered medical assistant. So I have those two and then I also have a small Etsy shop, which isn't really that busy since last year. And then our channel, and I do prior authorizations for another doctor. I do too much.
But how are you even here right now? I don't know how you even found time to come here. Thank you. Wow. You just gave me a headache, just so you know. I'm like,
I forget about some of them, because some of them, like doing the prior authorizations, that's just like a here or there thing, and it's just like an on patient basis. And so sometimes I'll go weeks without having to do one, and then sometimes there'll be weeks where I have like 3 or 4. And for the most part, they're not too complicated. But
wow. So, how long had you done that? How long had you been a trauma nurse? What did the first time?
I started in 2021, I think. So I've been there for a little over 4 years now.
Mm-hmm. So you tend to like it. Do you like it? I mean,
I do. We've had some on and off issues with staffing, and so sometimes it means like our workload's heavier, and then obviously when anybody has a heavier workload, your job can be not as fun as it is. But I mean, I do enjoy like the lack of boring. You never know. Like one day I could come in and I could just get somebody who fell and like literally just skinned their knees, and then the next day I could come in and have somebody who's like seriously injured, something totally different, and then the next day could be something completely different. So
yeah. Wow. So, okay. All right. Well, first of all, Robin, I'm going back and forth. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay.
You got 15 jobs. I'm trying to hit them all here. So, Robin, do you have your own practice, or do you work in a facility, and I'm not asking you to disclose personal medical information. I know you can't do that.
No, I have my own practice, so I could kind of do whatever I want, but I own my own business and have for the whole entire time I've been a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. I have a PLLC, and so I have my own business. You can go check out my website and learn more about me. So I have my own website. Just Google Robin Tribbett, PMHMPBC PLLC, like my name, and my business comes up. But I work for myself, and we're just expanding. And when I say we, I do consider Brittany part owner of my business, because she helps me, run the place. Without her, I couldn't do everything that I do. So we're just now growing. So yeah.
Wow. So about how many patients a day would you say that you see?
It averages on Mondays and Thursday. I do later hours, and we're getting ready to change even more. And so like I try to start later and work later on those days, and then Tuesdays and Wednesdays is like an average 8 to 5 day. And so obviously sometimes I have cancellations and no shows and things like that. People driving to an appointment that I have to cancel. But for the most part, I would say I have an average clientele that averages around 100 patients.
100 patients.
Yeah.
So do you have specialty that you do? As in, like, do you specialize in one particular mental?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. So I treat all ages, and I primarily treat depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, ADHD, anxiety, trauma, and those are pretty much the specialties. I don't treat anything that's chronic, because I am only one person, even though there's therapists in my office. Like because obviously I prescribe medication, and there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. So if there's a patient that's really chronic, like schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder like that, or a child that has autism. Sorry about our doggies in the background. Or a child that has autism, or a lot of comorbidities, and I don't usually see them in my practice, but for the most part, those are the specialties I work with.
Okay. So, do you deal with children, adults, any age, or
any age? I treat all ages. Yeah.
You do. Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. I'm interested in one particular ADHD. Like, I know that there's an autism side. There's a lot of adults that are being diagnosed now with ADHD and autism. Um, so how do you know, like, did I just come in and say I think I had this, or can you recognize some of the? And I'm not making sense, but
No, you are. That's a great question, Tammy.
yeah, why did it take so long to then did it diagnose? Is what I want to know.
That is a really good question. So I don't specialize in autism. I have somebody I refer out for that. That's not my specialty. Now, if somebody comes with me and they're half functioning autistic, I can work with them. But the ADHD diagnosis. Nowadays, with social media, with TikTok and Instagram, people come in and they supposedly self-diagnose themselves, and they'll come in and they'll be like, I'm neurodivergent or whatever. And then I'll be like, what does that mean? Because I'm not asking because I don't know what it means. I want them to tell me if they know what it means.
Right.
And when you get to the bottom of it, they don't know what it means. And so, a lot of times they've been on social media and they think they have those things. And you can't diagnose somebody with ADHD in a 45 or 50-minute appointment. And a lot of times ADHD can present anxiety, bipolar disorder, a depression. They all can look like ADHD. So you have to be really careful before you just give somebody medicine for ADHD and be like, oh yeah, you have ADHD, because how do you if you misdiagnose them and you give them, if they have anxiety or depression, you give them medicine for ADHD, that can cause them to have a lot of problems. So it can take 2 to 3 sessions before you figure it out, and even then sometimes you can get it wrong. You don't always get it right. Like, you could think, oh well, they seem to have ADHD, but then it turns out it is anxiety or depression. So I say I spend a lot of time getting to know my patients, getting to know their history, their family background. Like, what was it like if they're adult, what was it like when they were in school? Did they have problems? Did people think they had symptoms of ADHD? Were they held back? Were they in AG classes or gifted classes? So there's a lot of work that goes into that diagnosis. And I say, and I have articles about this. If you go to somebody and they say in a 25-minute or even 50-minute appointment, you have ADHD, here's a medicine, you really need to run the other way, because there's no way to know that in 25 or 50 minutes. It takes some time and some testing and they're getting to know that person to make those kinds of diagnoses. But in today's social media age, there's too many people that go and try to self-diagnose.
Right.
So I'm going to hijack for 2 seconds. So first, I'm going to, because you have some questions in the comments I'm going to ask here, but Artemis said she loves our mother-daughter dynamic. All right. So I know Artemis, I think she did answer. She does do ADHD. One thing I'll tell you that she'll also say, and she can comment on it too, there's not really like a specific test for ADHD. Like, there are tests that you can take that kind of can show signs that you might have ADHD, but there's not like a specific test that you could be given and the results say, yes, you have ADHD, or no, they don't. Like, they could point towards you might have ADHD, but it always really needs to be confirmed with a provider to review it. And just, again, like she said, ask further questions and get to know you a little bit more.
Even those psychologists that do that testing, that's like $3,000, that's not covered by insurance. If you really read, it will say on there's like a whole clause about it. They appear to have the symptoms of ADHD and medical wording. It won't say that exact, but they will say like there's no guarantee, like that they have it. There's no test that says 100% for sure this person has ADHD. And we live in a society right now where I feel like people are quick to throw pills at everything. And that's true for depression and anxiety too. And a lot of times you need therapy. It's not just a pill. And I'm a big believer, even though I prescribe medication, and not just giving people a pill. Like there's usually something else underlying the problem that medication is that you need in addition to medication, or you need besides medication.
And yeah, so that kind of goes back to what Eve said. Like there are tons of self-tests that can help like determine the likelihood of something and things like that. And then, like she said, they don't necessarily diagnose you, but they can give you an idea. So like if you were to do something like that and you go into a provider's office, you can go in and say, hey, I did this test. Here are the results. You know, I think I might have this. Can we talk about it? So that'll give you a starting point. I want you to answer Ditsy's question, because I know this hits home to you. She said, how are you able to leave stuff at home? Would have great difficulty with not allowing others' pain to consume me.
So that's a great question. I think it takes a lot of practice. I think when I first started this job, I wasn't able to, like I'm talking about when I started this job working like inpatient psych. I would go home, and a lot of times it would stay with me. And then I did mobile crisis, where you would go to where that was a very stressful job. I did it for 5 years. That's where people were. And, I just a disclaimer here, I'm going to use the word suicide, but people were feeling suicidal, or like they were going to hurt themselves or hurt somebody else. And I would go in and have to assess if they needed to be hospitalized. And let me tell you, sometimes, the sheriff would have to be at those calls because these people were so bad. And that was probably some of the hardest time. I was on call 24/7. I would hear my phone ringing in the middle of the night. But let me say this. I will say, also throughout the process, I have supervision with a psychiatrist, right? And sometimes those cases that do bother me, that's what we talk about in supervision. I've had my own therapy. And I think that's really important. There's a book that somebody wrote. Somebody should talk to me. Or should I talk to somebody, or something that's really popular. And it's about a therapist who talks about this. About she does therapy, but she's also going through a breakup of her relationship. You need to talk to somebody. I think that's the name of it. And but she's also in her own therapy. And I think that's important. In order to do this job, you have to be very self-aware.
It's so funny how many people in the chat have been diagnosed with stuff. I was just kind of reading through, like Crashly has ADHD, had to go through a bunch of sessions to get diagnosed. And then I know lithium, Ditsy, that's a powerful medicine, especially if you're not technically bipolar. So I know that's I bet it did drive you crazy, because I know some of the side effects just from talking to her about lithium can be.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. And I'm not that she had ADD, ADHD, OCD, dyslexia, and depression. And I'm glad you said that, because I don't understand the difference between ADHD and ADD and ADHD. What
Nowadays it really is considered more ADHD. Like it's just like, so that when you're diagnosed with something like the ADD, I just say leave it out. Like there's ADHD with hyperactivity, and there's ADHD that's mainly like where you are having trouble focusing, or you could have both. And so I just say, it's just when I'm diagnosing for insurance purposes, it's ADHD, and it can be with hyperactivity. It can be without hyperactivity. It can just be trouble concentrating. And then ADD stands for attention deficit disorder. But really, I don't even think that's a coding anymore.
It's not actually. So with the billing, when you look at it, there's these things called CM codes. And basically what they are is it's a diagnosis code. And so they change throughout the years, and they change versions. And so within the last, I don't know exactly what year it was, which version it was, but they faded out from calling it ADD, and all the diagnosis codes are labeled ADHD or attention deficit hyperactive disorder. And then in parentheses for a while, I don't know if the parentheses is still there. I haven't actually looked, but it used to say formerly ADD. So that the books and of the diagnosis have kind of transitioned from one to the other. So basically they are the same thing, but for billing purposes and insurance purposes, they only recognize it as ADHD because that's what the code is.
Right. I know that sometimes I'm often wondered, and like I said, again, that later on in life thing instead of earlier, I noticed that I had very hard time focusing, or I'll be in the middle of a sentence and I just stop and I go off and I say something else and then I'll stop and I'll say, I never complete a thought, and that sometimes I never get back to what I was saying. And then I can't remember crap anymore, but I'm also into meditation too. And it's hard when you're on meditation and the side effects are forgetfulness, you can't think. So you don't know if you really have a problem or if it's meditation. And so how are you supposed to know the difference? Because it's not like you can go off of med, but sometimes I feel like I do have some kind of the issue.
Well, that's a good question too, though, Tammy. But one of the things, when we started this was talking about, just feeling like we're on a roller coaster all the time. Anxiety and stress can cause you to forget things. I don't know if you have, if you ever watch me and our lives, or even in videos where I'll say, "What's this called, Brittany? Who is that, Brittany? Who did that, Brittany?" Like when we're doing recordings and lives, I get really nervous for the most part. If you notice right now, I'm not nervous. It's because we're talking about mental health. But when we're doing diamond painting stuff, I can get really nervous, and it's that nervousness that makes me forget. But also stress can make us forget, and I think that's a really important thing. And medication. I noticed Crashley brought up something about, really hard to get off medication. ADHD medication should not be difficult to get off of. It has a short half-life. You shouldn't have the crash. If you're on the right ADHD med, you should have, if you're taking a long-acting, you just take it in the morning. It would be a gradual decline throughout the day. And then by the end of the day, it's worn off. You're able to go to bed, go to sleep, get up the next morning. Sometimes you're on short acting. You take it twice a day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. You shouldn't have that crash in the afternoon. And again, they're so short acting that, whenever they wear off, it should be a gradual process. And if you are having a crash, like where you feel like all of a sudden, this medicine, like it's just like suddenly everything becomes forgetful again, and you're really, really tired, or you feel really wired, it's probably not the right med for you, and you probably should talk to not giving medical advice, but I would talk to your provider and have them reassess the medication that you're on. And that's another thing that bothers me. A talk with your provider shouldn't be a 15-minute or 20-minute med check. A talk with your provider should be a provider that you go to and you sit down with, and they say, "Hey, how is your medication working? Are you having any side effects? How are you eating? How are you sleeping? Are you exercising? How is your support system? Do you have somebody to talk to? What do you do for fun?" Like that should be the kind of interaction you have at a medication check. And, and I suggest if you're having problems, you go in with a list of things that you have to talk about. I even have a pre-post therapy worksheet that I can give the patients to be like, "Hey, have this prepared." Look at that. That's me with my hand motion. All right. I talk with my hands all the time.
Good fireworks go off behind us, guys. All right.
I thought you had fireworks going on. I'm like, what the heck do you all do?
That happens with my patients too, because I talk with my hands.
So
that's fine. Now that I know what it is, I thought I did something.
So I wanted to say two things. So first, I 100% agree with Eve. A person is not a diagnosis. So and actually what that thought made me think of was, for me, is, we've had this conversation a lot within her practice because in some of the prior authorizations I do, who actually, ironically enough, it's for her collaborating psychiatrist, it tends to be for a lot of ADHD medications. And it frustrates the crap out of me that I hate insurances. They're necessary evils, but I hate them. But it drives me crazy that they will look at some medications, like if you're physically sick, you can mark like a prior authorization as urgent and say, hey, I need this medication urgent. And if because you're physically sick, they consider urgent. But I tend to see more and more where like they look at like mental health diagnoses, where if you mark something as urgent, they don't view some of them as urgent as others. Like especially like ADHD, I feel like insurance looks down at people with ADHD, or like they just don't think it's important, or that it hinders people's lives when we know it really truly does.
Yeah. And you're right. It just all depends on that diagnosis. Is whether an insurance is going to take or anything. A third a simple blood test, and that's like I had low D12 deficiency severely, and instead of just saying I had low D12, I had to say that I'm severely fatigued, that I am now. But back then I didn't. And I went to the doctor once and I told him, I said, I cannot think. I don't know what it is, but I can't think. And he said, well, you're severely fatigued, so that'll cause you not to be able to think and stuff. So, again, that's another problem I have. So, how do you know if you really have a problem or if you just all of the fatigueness and the meditation and just running all the time. So how do you know when you need to see a person, a professional?
I think just that question alone, like, says it would be a good idea to see somebody and talk to them and figure out, and not somebody that's going to spend 5 minutes with you, but somebody that is going to sit down with you and help you figure out, is it medication? Is it that you're doing too much, or is it is it depression or anxiety, or the first thing when somebody comes to me, the first thing I think is important to say is I rule out medical causes, because how do you know it's not hormonal or thyroid or vitamin D? So that's a good point, Tammy, too, is like that's the very first thing I do is blood work and make sure nothing medical is going on with the person. So that's the first thing you look for. And then if nothing medical is going on, then you figure out, like, okay, here's all the meds that the person's taking. What can these, like, I believe the less meds you're on, the better you are. So are all these meds working? Can you get rid of any of the meds? And then, the distinguishing what's what is just getting to know that person, talking to them and figuring out what the signs and the symptoms are they're having.
And furthermore on that, so there's two things. So number one, I would say if you ever have anything, whether it's physical or mental, that's affecting your day-to-day life, I would say it's a good idea to just talk to somebody and see if they can do something to help that. But then on top of that, like I know a lot of people, and we've had this conversation in our lives and with other people, but like I know I have her as an example, and she's probably one of the better examples, but like sometimes trying to find the provider who's a good fit for you, it may take sometimes trying with a few different providers, because, I do know, like, Eve said, nowadays you're lucky if you get a 15-minute med visit, sometimes it's 5. And so you really just kind of have to look around for that person and that provider who gives you what you need. Like, I love her in the fact of, she obviously, all of her med checks are 25 minutes. If you need less than that and you're good and you've talked to her and she's like, if you want to go a little early, that's fine. But she schedules 25 minutes just for med checks. But then she also does the extra mile of the coordinating care. So like if you have a therapist, she talks to your therapist and makes sure you guys are on the same page. She also talks to primary care doctors and makes sure you guys are on the same page. So like she said, making sure that the physical, anything from your physical health may not be making things in your mental health worse.
Right. That makes sense. So, Mom, I'm glad you did that, because I told my mom for a long time, I said, she said, take me. And she had the point. Since I started my YouTube channel, I just go and I go and I go and I go. And actually, yeah.
I know.
We were laughing at it.
So funny.
But I do. It just sometimes I really do think it's the doctrine, and then sometimes I think I'm just losing my mind, and I can't. I actually have a doctor's appointment this week, so I think I might bring it up to him just to see what he thinks. Because I didn't know the test was $3,000 and not cover the insurance. So that's another thing too. And I think that's why a lot of people don't get diagnosed because they don't go because they don't have any way to actually take the test.
Well, the test that she's referring to isn't necessarily something that's required.
Mm-mm.
It's something people will sometimes pay to go and do, but it's not something that's required. You should still be able to go to realistically, I say realistically because it doesn't always necessarily happen, but go to any provider and have it may not necessarily happen in the first session or even the second session, but you should be able to see them and get a diagnosis without having to spend more than what you would pay just to see the provider.
And because I diagnosed ADHD, there are psychiatric nurse practitioners and psychiatrists that will tell you they don't diagnose ADHD. It's because they don't want to prescribe stimulants. That's a whole nother issue. Like ADHD is not a disorder, and that bothers me to no end, because I have seen people with severe ADHD that can't function in life without their medication.
Yeah, I had to, and that's sad. That people are that, or even I tell you another thing is OCD. That can really irritate somebody if they don't get a hold of that. And I've seen it personally, and it makes me sad. And there's nothing, and like my niece Hannah, she's the one that's the nurse school in the nurse practitioner school, but she thought it had something a certain way, or she just can't do anything. And I think she needs to do something about it, but that's not my call. I just hate to see her so miserable, because she can't even go to bed unless everything's done. She can't leave anything, and everything's at a certain place. It's got to be. It can't be out of order. And we all had that to a degree. My mom's always thought that up in us, and we've always put things in the right place. But it seems like it just kind of an issue saying it, and I hate that for her, and I don't know what to do for her. But she is a nurse. She works with health professionals, so I have to trust that she knows what she needs. But when it's your niece or your child, you worry about them, and I do, and sometimes I see her so miserable because everything not the way they need to be right at that time. And she's getting married in October, and I'm so happy for her that I secretly I'm dreading that day for her because, and I told her, I said, Hannah, something's gonna go wrong. I promise you that. Your mother, Tiana, half an hour late. I got a flat right when it's the time for my sister to walk down the aisle. So my dad had to leave her, come to the air in my time,
man.
back to my sister, and then I had a flat on stage. So it was an ordeal. And my sister said, Hannah, it's not gonna go just the way you're playing. And she said, it has to, or I can't take it. And I dread that for her. And I don't know how to prepare her for that.
Well, I'll say two things. First of all, a large clientele of mine are nurses and professionals in the medical field. Okay. Second thing is, I used to have OCD, Tammy, really bad OCD. From my mom passed away when I was 8, and so my OCD started when right after she died, and this was in the 1980s when OCD was talked about. We really didn't know what OCD was. And my OCD, the way mine showed itself was I would check stove eyes. I would, OCD, I tell my patients, OCD is another disorder I treat, by the way. And that, by the way, there's a very good website called the OCD Foundation. I would refer somebody to that has OCD. They have free support groups. But OCD is one of the most difficult disorders to treat. But my OCD would come out by, like I could see the water wasn't on. The water wasn't dripping. But in my mind, I'd have to like twist the water thing to make sure it wasn't dripping. I could see the stove eyes weren't on, but I'd have to go off, off. I would check the door locks like 50 times. I could see the bathroom light was off, but I'd have to keep pressing down the switch. And that was my OCD. So it would take me like, to get ready to leave my house, it would take like 30 minutes to an hour extra because I had to go around checking all these things. I'm sorry about the hand motion.
I'm not laughing at you.
I know.
We know. It's the thumbs up.
I know.
It's not going to do it when you want it to.
Don't do it when I want it to. It should do a heart. But anyway, my OCD ended up getting better after I got married because my husband one night said, what if I go check everything? And I said, well, you can go check everything, but I'm going to go check it behind you. Right. So he went and checked everything. And then I'd go check everything behind him. And then eventually he would come to bed and he'd be like, okay, everything's checked. And I'd be like, are you sure? And he'd be like, yeah. So I would not go check everything. And then eventually I just stopped checking. And now I don't even think twice about it. So I don't do it anymore. But I tell my patients that story, like, I wish that would happen for everybody, but I know it doesn't. OCD is one of those disorders where, and like if you feel like if it's washing your hands, you have to like just touch a doorknob and then sit with me and not, oh my gosh, sit with me and be like, not go wash your hands and talk to me and be like, okay, tell me what you're feeling. Tell me about what's going through your head that you're not washing your hands, and put off washing your hands as long as possible. But some people can't do that, but in the beginning, but like for a few seconds, and then they go wash their hands, and then eventually they can do it for the whole session, and they don't go wash their hands, or getting in an elevator, whatever that OCD is or that fear is. But a lot of times OCD is one of those disorders that requires a medication. Like it just does. It's so chemically imbalanced in your brain.
And
so
yeah.
And go ahead, Tammy. Go ahead.
I think she didn't it, than that, but again, that's not my call.
Well, that's what I was going to touch on. Artemis, Artemis mentioned CPT or CBT helped her, so it's not an issue. And she said, would she want to get help? So that's one of the biggest things is for anybody who contacts us who's over the age of 18, like if somebody contacts us on their behalf, we won't contact that person back, because if somebody's like, say you contacted a provider on behalf of, I think you said it was your niece, right?
Yeah.
I don't know many providers who would, because you're reaching out, but your niece may not want help. So until they're at that point where it's bothering them enough where they won't help, it's not really going to matter. So one thing I always do, especially with her, like if she's having like a bad day or she's stressed or anxious, sometimes it drives her crazy. But one thing we always talk about is asking, do you want to be helped, heard, or hugged? Because then that gives somebody the option to tell you like they want to talk, or maybe they just want to be left alone, but it kind of gives them some options to tell you what they need at that time to help them.
I even have that written down here. Do you want to, because that's the biggest thing. Do you want to be helped, heard, or hugged? I think that's such a
note. Don't ever go to Crashley's house. Note to self: loosen all the pipes for when Britt and Robin come to visit, so I can watch Robin run and fix them all. Sorry, I had to read that. That's just
Crashly.
Yeah, that no doubt in my mind she'd do that too. Not at all. Not at all. But I mean, you've answered a lot of questions that I had today. Especially about the ADHD and ADD. I never understood the difference in ADHD, that you give me a little better understanding of what it is and how to seek treatment for it if you think you have it. I personally think I'm just overworked. Not in a bad way. Just, I don't sleep. And don't give me that look, Marta. I don't sleep. I can't sleep. I can't. I'm in pain a lot, so I don't sleep. So I like that I'm busy. And my mom even said this. It keeps my mind off my pain. And I actually do better. I function better when I do have a lot of stuff to do. Because when you're in pain 24/7, that affects me mentally. And then that can really get you down and depressed. And, you know, so I think being overworked can be an advantage to some people. And I think it is to me. I'm not complaining. I love it. I really do. But I have been trying to taste myself more. Like today, I diamond painted for a while, and then I just stopped and chilled within my life. So normally, I would diamond paint right up till times in my life. Or I wanted to film. I started to film before the live, and Mom said, "Are you sure you need to do that?" I said, "No, probably not." So I did the right thing and I didn't. But I think a lot of times I'm just overworked. But it's just, I hate that chaos that I feel that's in my head, because I know it gets on other people's nerves. It has to. It does mine. So why is that doing that? And
I don't know. It's Berta or Leela.
Yeah, Leela because of the storms.
It's Berta doing something that we don't know about.
But I raised my hand. That's the third of what you do. Nothing. Third did it. I don't believe you. No, you didn't. I don't know. I don't care. I thought I did it. But anyway, but you answered a lot of questions today as far as an ADHD and the OCD there. But my next question is YouTube. Where did that come from? Why did you start to do the channel, and how long had you thought in diamond painting?
So she actually started the diamond painting, and it was the channel was kind of her idea. So she started diamond painting actually when she was sick almost 2 years ago now.
I love her.
And she had me go get one of the Michael's diamond paintings for her to do. And so like she slowly would work on that on and off. And then we went on vacation, and I had gotten a Pokemon one. I don't even know where from, because I can't find it anywhere anymore. But it was the first one I ever did. And like we both started working on it on vacation, and like we just kind of got hooked. And then she got, I don't remember what the first one was, but the first Diamond Art Club she did was Love Bard. And then that's when we discovered Diamond Art Club, and we're like, oh, we're in trouble. And then the channel, I don't know. One day she mentioned something about just starting a channel, and then like we didn't really talk about it anymore. And then a couple weeks later she brought it up again, and we ended up just starting it together. So it was really her idea.
Well, I wanted to do a mental health kind of thing, and I'd still do. But when we started, I wasn't planning on, honestly, when I applied to Duke, I did not think I was going to get in. That was kind of like a joke. I really wasn't planning on getting accepted. And so we started the channel about the time I did the whole Duke application. And so the goal was to like incorporate more mental health into our diamond painting channel, which we still I still am going to do.
Yeah, she's going to start one day a week. We're going to have a mental health video. She's going to work on when we have time. She's going to have a corner set up. And by the way, Crashly, the Taylor Swift stuff behind us is hers.
Yeah.
We're both obsessed with Taylor Swift.
Oh,
but the stuff you see right now is hers.
Oh, sorry, there's a whole Taylor Swift wall over here too, and right over here. You can't see even a fourth of it. Like I'm a Taylor Swiftie big time.
Are you really?
We both are.
We went and see her twice. We had VIP tickets. For her concert, we were so close to her. We could reach out and touch her on stage one night. It was such a blessing to go see her. We're so thankful. But yeah, the diamond painting started like it was kind of like I want to do mental health while diamond painting, and so finally Brittany just went and recorded a video in the floor in my office when Art and Soul Hannah Lynn's video. Home. Oh my God. I don't know if you have ghosts or if that's me or what, but whatever.
That's okay. I like Tyler.
Me too. But anyway, she recorded that video, and then after that, it just took off. I still say it's kind of like her baby. I still say because she does all the work, all the editing. I actually hate watching myself on video. I hate listening to myself on the videos. And so, like, she really does everything, kind of like behind the scenes.
You know, that you sound like me. I used to never ever let anybody record me ever. I never did a home movie. When I got older, when I got younger, I didn't care. But when I got older, I realized that I had a slight decent here in it, but I didn't told it's not actually. I do love the lasers, that's true. But see, that's not right. What was I saying? Somebody tell me. I had no. They're the same. I had no idea what I was telling you now. Not a clue. Oh,
you're recording yourself. I was trying to remember too.
But the station here and there is not as bad as I think it is. In my head it was. Mm-hmm. So I needed to record myself. But then after being in the YouTube lane for a while, I decided, you know what, you're not to do that. That is something good to you. And so I sat down and I recorded my first video, and I'm like, oh, I can't watch myself. I can't edit this and listen to myself. So you know how I edit it? I don't listen to it. I don't listen to it.
Really? You still don't, or you do now?
I don't. I still don't.
Wow.
I don't. I listen to the first 3 or 4 minutes just to make sure the video's not echoing, because a lot of times I will wear a mic, and a couple of times the video echo, and it's almost like my phone was picking up the phone mic and the mic of the blaring, so they were overlapping each other, and it was echoing. So I had to track the video. Couldn't fit them. One time I sounded like a demon, but that was easy to do because all I had to do was speed it up. But then I thought, well, you know what? I have to make sure that they're not echoing, and as soon as I figure out they're not echoing, I do not listen to it. I don't, and I edit it, and I just kind of run it through a little bit, and I thought, I'm just going to take a chance and hope that it's okay. And it happens. I do not listen to myself. I hate it.
I don't rewatch shows either, Tammy. I can't stand to watch myself. And when I'm doing telehealth, I keep myself off camera because I can't stand to look at myself.
Yeah. Well, It's the sound. I hate the way I sound. I know that's silly that I do. I don't like the way that I sound. I know that I had just a slight decent here and there. You told I told you what to do. Yeah, you did tell me what to do, but I don't remember what you said. I did. I can't remember anything. What did you say?
While you're waiting on her to answer, let me say this, Tammy. You know what? I believe that, like, this is really true. I don't know if it's true for everybody, but I believe that once you get to know somebody and you get to know their heart and their soul and who they are, I don't think you see things like how they look or speech impairment. I think like we're talking about, like, my keeping myself on camera, that's a me issue, right? But you may say you have a speech impairment, but I don't see that in you. I see this lovely, wonderful person, and I think you can see the most beautiful people in the world that could talk perfectly and whatever, right? And when you get to know them, they're the ugliest people in the world. You know what I mean?
I look at it as, and I don't think you should look at it as a bad thing either. I think you should look at it as a strength, because, how many people would have said, I don't want to do this, I don't like the way I sound, and would have given up at this point, and look at where you're at because you didn't give up. So I think it's a strength of yours. I don't think you should look at it as a bad thing at all.
Thank you. I'm getting better as far as I'm putting out more videos now, but in fact, I had so many on reserve that I just had to not release them because I'm like, you can't put out this many videos, it's ridiculous. But I had to film while I feel good. So I had a day that I feel well enough to film, and I filmed like 4 the other day. And I edited them all, and the mom comes in here and she said, how are you doing that? There's no sound. I said, well, I'm listening. She said, Amy, there is no way you know that's okay, just I'm not listening to it. I said, it's been okay so far. I said, I listened to the first 3 minutes. She said, Amy, what if the last 3 minutes doesn't sound right? I said, well,
I love Ditzy. Ditzy said she can't wait till you don't edit a toot out.
I don't do that, Dit. Sorry, I don't believe in toot. So that don't need to happen. But, I told Mom that I do release a video and it's not okay. Somebody yell it, I'll just touch it down and redo it. I can't listen to myself. I just can't. That's the problem. And oh my God, that's another problem I have. Are third IDs. I love them all.
I got him because he's trying to growl again. So while he's the only one up here, I've grabbed him so he wouldn't growl.
Well, so I know that you love Hannah Lynn, Robin. I mean, Brittany.
Yeah.
And Emma Casey. You don't find Emma Casey. So who is your favorite, Robin?
So I would say my favorite probably is, that's really hard, but Emma probably is my favorite. I'm not a Hannah Lynn fan. Emma probably is my favorite. And then, Becca and Cheryl, after I got, it's funny. After we did artist spotlights and I got to know the artists, I began to love them. Like, it was getting the meaning behind the artwork that made me start liking them. So, like, Cheryl Carpenter. Like, I remember Emma, Brittany did Dragon Season. She started, I didn't have a clue anything about Emma. And then I don't remember the first Emma piece I got, but like, I don't know. There was something about Emma. And then the fact Emma comes to people's lives and interacts with the community. You would never think she was even an artist, because she's just such a human being. And I mean, they all are human beings, right? But to me, they are like Taylor Swift, right? Yeah. And it's so funny talking about this, Tammy, because not this past Sunday, but Sunday 2 weeks ago, we had Becca in our live on that Sunday. I, for the first time, was almost speechless. I was starstruck by Becca, because she she is like such a wonder to me. Like she just does everything, and I in that video, I just was starstruck by her. I'm glad she brought her little girl because that helped relieve some of my anxiety. But you know, I love some of the dark art too, in Oscuro,
In a Morte.
and a Morte. But today, you know, we're getting ready to do a diamond painting auction thanks to you and Rich and Berta.
Yeah, we loved your idea. We had so much fun with it. We're actually hosting our first one, but we're doing it for our members. We're destashing for some of our members. So.
Yeah, because we got this idea from you. Thank you, and we loved your first auction. That was so good. We're doing one on Saturday, but we were going through our diamond paintings to figure out which ones I'm getting. And I realized, good grief, I've got so many. Mandy, what? No, not Mandy, but what's
You may are
not that many. You may are, but
Sarah Mustafa.
Sarah Mustafa. But there was the other one that does the
Rita Konya.
But there was somebody else had the enhancements for.
Oh, Margaret Morales.
I have almost every Margaret Morales. Ivy Delamore, like I bought the Ivy from you in the auction. That really old Ivy.
Moon Thief.
Yeah, like that. I love that one. Like I have so many of hers. Like I didn't realize like those things I would not ever auction. Like I would never auction an Emma or a Becca. But you know, I love Chuck Pinson. It's just hard to say. Like I love a lot of artists, but definitely top ones would be it would be Emma, Becca. I like Char Carpenter because of the meaning behind some of her diamond paintings. Dakota. Yeah, I like Dakota's work. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a hard question, isn't it?
It is. But I really like Becca Tyndall. I really do. And I love Emma Cuddy. I don't have either one of theirs because I have to do, they tend to be kind of large.
Yeah, Becca's are huge.
Unless they are around, I don't dye a very large one anymore because in my hand, I don't want to mess it up. And I don't want to overdo it. And if I really love the image, I will overdo it. So trying to find a Becca or an Emma that is around, most of them are clear. I would love to have Dragon Season. I'd love it. That's a little expensive, but Becky Tyndall had that Fairy Dreams. What's the, oh God.
Inside a Fairy's Dream?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. And then she had that other one. I don't know the names of them, but it's like she has their I don't know if it's an angel and a demon, but it's like a good versus evil type thing. And I love that image, but most of the ones that I like, really like, are flared. And I'm like, man, but she is very nice. I know when she announced on the DSC site that she is signed with him, I talked to her. I mean, I just said congratulations or whatever, and she actually replied. And we actually had a conversation for like 10 minutes, and I thought she is the nicest person I've ever met. You know, very nice. Rita Konya is a person that I love, and I said that next year I'm toying with the idea of doing a Rita Konya event because I do love her. I love her a lot. I also love witches. So I don't know if I'm going to do all witches or just Rita, but I think they're Rita because to my knowledge, I don't know if anyone's done a Rita Konya event.
Not that I know of. She's popular too. Yeah. She's a pretty popular. A lot of people love her art, I guess I should say.
I'd like to do one of her. And Sharon the Stop is another. That's the two that I really love. Sharon the Stop, Rita. What's true? I love them all. Becky Tyndall, and Emma Casey, Dakota, Chuck. I mean, those are the two that a Delta and a Emma. That's the two paintings I wanted. So I'm on the hunt for rounds.
Well, actually, Chris just said he did. Crystal Realm is not huge, but it's also a round.
Which one? Wait.
The Crystal Realm from Becca. It's a
That
Diamond Art Club one.
That's a round?
Mm-hmm. She
thought
she doesn't have many rounds, but I think she's got like Cosmic Dance is a much smaller one, but it's round. But Crystal Realms round, I can't think off the top of my head if there are other round ones, but I know those two definitely are.
We're getting ready.
the round, but I thought it was Claire.
We're getting ready to unbox all of Becca. We have like what 20 Becca pieces, probably something like that.
The ones that we haven't unboxed, probably not that many, but total, yeah. We
have 20. Well, we're getting ready to like at to kind of wrap up Becca's event. We're getting ready to unbox all of her diamond paintings that we have and show them off. So because we've kind of been we've kind of been holding them off, so we started just a Becca Tyndall pile, and we're going. That's kind of like going to be the ending of her event. Is just opening all our kits and showing them.
So how that event been going? Because I do down in there and I looked at people, progress and stuff like that I didn't have on that I couldn't join in, but it seems to be doing well. I mean,
I think it's done great.
I think people have had a lot of fun. I think we ended up having. I don't know how many people. I think there was a couple that didn't actively participate, but I think we ended up having like 80 or 85 participants enter with the Google form.
And the thing about Becca, she had her, Becca has her clothing line and all her own stuff. So when we started the Becca event, we had so many people just join our Facebook group and our channel just because they loved Becca. And we just had a huge surplus of followers because of Becca having so many followers, even if they didn't participate in the event. The thing that we've noticed here at the end is because of her pieces being so large, people are beginning to finish. So at the end here, there haven't been as many entries because people aren't going to start another huge piece that they know they can't finish.
Right. So you all had put on a few events this year already.
Two so far.
Well, we have a bunch coming up.
Yeah, we're hosting a bunch coming up. Next month we've got you. We're hosting with you and Ditzy and Tiffany, the Oz and Og, and then actually, so last year Enablers Outpost created the Small Shop Fall Festival, and so we're kind of carrying on for them and hosting their event this year. So we'll be hosting that for September and October. And then I don't think we're doing anything in November.
And don't forget
September she's doing like a suicide awareness kind of event, but it'll be super low key and not really many restrictions at all for that. There may not be a whole bunch of prizes, but it'll still be kind of going with it. And then we're going to be doing dragons in December with the two crafty Sheilas still.
Oh, are you doing that again? So the Small Shop Fall Festival, I liked that event. I helped out with that last year. So what are the parameters of that? Is it the same thing?
Yeah, so we're trying to keep the rules pretty much the exact same thing. So kids have to have some kind of fall or Halloweenish theme and really flexible in the fact of if you're diamond painting something with a pie, like an apple pie or something, we're counting that as fall themed. So they'll doing anything like that. It does have to be a kit from a small shop. So that excludes Diamond Art Club and Dreamer Designs. I'm honestly not really sure about Oraloa because I don't know how many, if they're technically still considered. We're trying to do businesses with less than 5 people to kind of support those really, really small businesses.
Right.
So I'm still trying to find out about Oraloa. So that's the only reason we haven't made an official announcement on that. But definitely excluding Diamond Art Club and Dreamer Design. So any other small shop with a fallish theme would work. So and it kind of ties in well to Drills and Chills. Although I know some people are doing Diamond Art Club for Drills and Chills, which is totally fine. But it ties in well with the what is it? Witch? Mm-hmm. What is it called exactly? Yeah, that you guys are hosting. So
yeah.
That's got a small shop tied to it. So and it can be shops that are no longer exist if they were a small shop. So Craftably, Art and Soul. I'm trying to think of other shops that have closed that people still do a lot of kits from. But Muni Made Works, Bella Artworks, Oh my goodness. Enablers Outpost works. So tons of small shops out there. And I know there's a million of them I'm not naming right now. The one with the diamond art, Ever After, but any of those with any kind of fall theme will work.
Okay, let me ask you that again, because like I said, I helped out with that last year. And one of the ways I helped out was the Facebook group. And somebody asked about turtle kitten video torsider kitty. And I actually had that here. Elizabeth sent that to me. And I said, yeah, I think that'll work. Because that's what Elizabeth and I talked about too, because it was fall. I mean, it looked very fall and it's orange colored and it's outside in the sun. And then somebody said, no, I don't think it will. So I'm asking you, what do you think? Do you think the Turtle Kitten Studios, Torsider Kitty, or any of theirs will work? Because in my opinion, it would.
Tammy, can I say something about that too while Brittany's looking that kid up? Look, if it means something to that person and it connects anyway with that event, like Oz and Og, you know how Shay always at Oz and Og, and if anything, if you could connect it to the Wizard of Oz, Shay would be like, yeah, it's a kit that would work. You know that. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big believer, like in Oz and Og, you don't want to have like summer flowers, all right? I guess I don't. But I'm a big believer in if it's a kit and it can work, and then what's the big deal? Like, say yes and let it work,
What was the name of the one you were talking about, Tammy?
Torsider Kitty. It's the orange setting kitty. I had that too. So I thought, that's why I said I thought it worked, because I thought Elizabeth.
Is it this one?
That. Yeah.
Yep. I would let that count. I would say it would.
That's what I said. And they said, well, we just told no. But none of the, I said, well, who told you no? I said, I don't think any of us were telling them. The other people in the community were telling them no. So
I mean, let's be real. If you can tell me how it works for fall and you're supporting a small shop and participating in the event, I'm probably going to side with you, because especially if it means you may not be able to participate because you might not have a better kit that might be like your best option. If you can tell me how it ties to fall or Halloween or whatever, I'm good with it. Like, that's a cat. Technically, when I think of technically when I think of Halloween, I think of cats. So, I mean, we want you to be able to participate, and we want to be able to support the small shops. So we have a theme, but we don't want to try to exclude anybody by being too strict with the theme, if that makes sense.
None of us said no. And like Diamond Grandma, you know what she said about her event? If you don't have a kit that works, and that's just a story. If you can tell me a story, it works. I'm like, you know what? I like that.
If you're gonna have such strict rules, then I'm just not gonna participate. That's my thought.
Well, that's probably a lot of people's.
I don't need to be stressed out by diamond painting. It's something I do because I love and I want to enjoy it. And if it's something if it's gonna be an argument over whether or not your painting is gonna do, then no, thank you. I don't need that kind of stress in my life.
When I started diamond painting and I started event, there used to have to be a finish. And I haven't done an event in the last year that has looked like, because more and more do not have to have a finish or a new start, which I think makes it a lot more enjoyable, because if you gotta have the finish, or if you gotta have a very, very large section done, it makes it very, I feel pressured. And I either sit in the middle of it, or I kill myself, like literally kill myself trying to meet that requirement.
Yeah.
No fun. And diamond painting is supposed to be fun and stress 3, and that's what I use it for. And I'm assuming that it helps you guys with anxiety and stuff because I didn't know that. I mean, even my doctor recommended dominating. I didn't know. I don't know. I said, huh?
Well, now I recommend diamond painting too. So there you go.
It just, and I think it's the repetition of doing the same thing over and over and not having to worry about. For me, it is because I don't have to worry about doing different, like 500 different things to complete a task. So I liked it. It's very relaxing for me. But do you guys have any plans other than event that anything else going on to your channel that you can say, or do you want to keep it under wraps? Or?
Yeah. So auction this Saturday. We'll probably be doing a D-stash and potentially an auction of some of our kids. I don't really have a whole lot, but she does. Plans for it will, because there's 2 of us, we have 2 pretty big stashes. So at least 2 stash videos, but they may split up more. So we do have a stash video plan. That just is it requires a lot of time. So we got to get the office done first before we start on that. But then my goal is for September, when we start the Small Shop Fall Festival, is I'm going to try to start my first passion project. So kind of like how Lizette was our inspiration for that. And I've got several ideas. And I'm hoping I have a piece that comes from Enabler's Outpost that I can that I can use for my passion project. But it's got several kits in it, so that would be probably like a 2 or 3 month long thing that I'll be working on. So
Lizette is one of my favorite YouTubers. She's the first person I ever paid to be a member of, and to this day, I love Lizette.
At least sent me another teacher, United Lizette channel. I said, huh? Hey, to United on Lizette channel. I said, I never been on her channel. What the heck are you talking about? And
thanks, Jamie. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, she had listed like the top 80 channels or 100 channels or what. You don't know. And I was on there, and I took a screenshot of that because I thought,
I know, it was such a good video.
Yeah, it is.
Jay Lily brought up a point that we are actually planning a retreat next year in North Carolina.
Right? I heard about that.
We haven't 100% settled on, like, I have a forerunner for our location. The only reason I haven't 100% decided on it is because the room that we would be using to diamond paint, they have restrictive hours. And so it's 7 a.m. to midnight. And I know some people, when they go to retreats, can be like later birds. And so I've been trying to find something that's similar in the price, because the price is really good. So I've been trying to find something similar in price. But that'll be, once we have everything finalized, I'll be announcing it. But we're aiming for August, September of next year. So 2026 in North Carolina.
And then going to retreats, we're going to Ditsie's retreat, and then we're going to the cruise retreat. We're going to do the cruise retreat.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. So those will be our first 2 retreats that we've actually attended. So
and then and then talk about our channel. We're going to be also branching out to Legos and to are they called wobbles? You know, the wobbles, whatever they are, the crocheting things. Yeah.
Well, that's the one that you crochet or knit.
Yeah.
We're gonna be trying that. We've tried the last couple of nights and haven't had time to sit down and record it and do it. So
yeah, we're at my office where I actually do my paid job at. We're painting it and redoing it, and I graduated in May, right? And then we took over that office the 1st of was it June or July? July 1st. But we started painting right after I graduated in June to get ready for people because we were going to be bringing, people were leaving and we were getting people in. So we've got 3 offices painted, the waiting room painted. We got to do the reception area where Brittany is painted. And now one of the therapists moved to one of the painted offices. So we got to paint that. and then but we're getting there. So we're redoing our office all in the middle of all of this. So it was kind of like graduating from Duke, take over that the office, painting the office, redoing the office. And so we when you talk about feeling like you're on in a whirlwind,
You're like me. You're like me. You like to do 3,000 things.
Yeah.
In one time. Yeah.
And then just the working, and then finding time to diamond paint lately. I've been feeling just like I want the diamond paint, and like not having time because of having all these other things going on. Yeah.
Well, that's something that I've actually had to set aside more to do, because my mom told me one day, and I hadn't realized that. She said, "You're not diamond painted. You don't diamond paint anymore." I said, What are you talking about?" "Yes, I do." She said, "It's in a week." And you're talking to someone that used to diamond paint 18 hours a day to find this, my hand up, I'm sure. And she was right. I was just concentrating on the channel, and I really was, because that first year I told everybody that I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna do it right. Well, I hadn't realized I wasn't done painting, and I think that's why I wasn't coping it much either, because that's how I was coping my painting stuff. That I've had to really start setting time aside just to diamond paint. And when I do, I'll put stuff to the channel, because I've done a binder. I'll put it out of the way, out of my sight, because if I see it, then I'm thinking about what I need to do for the channel the whole time I'm diamond painting. So yeah, I get that. Now let me ask you something. If there any, are you two? Can you do other craft, because you're doing the woodle, so I'm assuming that you can crochet or cross stitch or something.
Well, the crow that's coming about to see, like, the whole point of that is
to try to see if we like it. Yeah,
it teaches you to crochet supposedly, and so the whole point is when I was interested in it, the reviews on Amazon were both like, "Oh yeah, it's really easy. Oh no, it's really hard. It's really easy." So what we thought is we picked out one each, and we're gonna sit down and figure out it. Is the video on
camera in a video? Can we do it?
Is it easy, or is it difficult? And that's the goal behind that video. Like, because we don't know. Like I've tried taking knitting classes, so I want to know. So we've each got one, and we're gonna try to figure that out.
And I know nothing about crocheting, so this is all new.
Yeah, the Legos. Brittany has always had a fan of Legos, and I started seeing the flower Legos everywhere, and I'm a huge lover of flowers and stuff. And so I started getting actually, for my graduation, Eric, my husband, got me the roses Legos, and I said, I'm going to do this on the channel. And then I got the Home Alone Lego set, and so then that just led to Legos. So Brittany's got tons of Legos.
Most of mine are Harry Potter.
So we're going to start doing, that's just like we're going to incorporate that, because that's already been something she's done.
Other things that make us happy. So in turn, hopefully make everybody happy,
Yeah, and if you like it, watch it. If not, you don't have to watch it.
I didn't know that a layout was that big until I was talking to Dix and Paul one night, and they showed us all the ones that Dix did. And
I thought she asked if we'd seen her talent, and I haven't.
She can do those. She can do those Legos without blinking her eyes, and she's done in no time. That's what Paul said. He loved that she can diamond paint now, because it's a lot less expensive than a Lego set. Because you can do a big Lego in what, a day or two did? Is that right? I mean, no time. She had them, and they're amazing to me. They're huge.
They're beautiful.
You're right. We start the channel because of the love of the craft, and then the channel kind of takes over the craft.
Yeah.
I wish that I could do other arts and crafts that with my hand that I can't, that I do color. And so when I can't diamond paint, I color. And that takes a lot to color. I do like the color. But I would like to do some kind of other craft, but I don't think I could do a Lego set. I'd like to try, but I don't think I could snap them into place. But I like to watch people build things with Lego, so I do like that. But I didn't know if you two did other kind of crafts or not. 'Cause I only see you diamond paint. That's all I ever see you do.
We've got a whole stash you can't see over here of other. There's actually a couple other like little small crafts, and I have a huge puzzle collection. So we've got tons of other hobbies we love. Diamond painting has just kind of taken over as our main love, so we had been doing it more than everything else. So,
do you like to do puzzle? Because I don't have the patience to do a puzzle now.
Not as much anymore.
We haven't, and I probably haven't done one in like 2 years or so. But like when everybody was probably discovering diamond painting in COVID, I did puzzles during COVID. So.
I got this very neat little Halloween, 4 sets of Halloween puzzles off of Etsy during COVID. I just fell in love with. They were like mystery.
They're like mystery murder kind of kits.
And I fell in love with those. But I've got a closet full of puzzles that haven't even been opened.
And my sister told my mom and I said, "This is during COVID." And she said, "You guys should get you a puzzle, set it up on the table in the den, and then just go work on it. Like when Timmy comes through the house, just stop and do a few pieces here and there." Well, I lasted about 2 seconds, and Mom lasted about 2 minutes, and neither one of us we just couldn't sit there and do it. But I don't think I did it enough times. But again, I had trouble connecting the pieces, and if I had trouble with something, then I get frustrated.
Right.
Fun, and it gets me more anxious and agitated. So diamond painting and coloring is just easy for me. So
Tammy, I don't know if I've told you this, but I've always been a fan of yours. I remember before you even had a channel and you were on Leopard Leatherworks, like as a mod, and I remember I would watch them and I would watch you on their channel. And so I've kind of, that was before we even had a channel. So I've kind of watched as you have evolved, and you're an amazing human being. Like Brittany and I have talked about that. Like you are a super role model and a good example for anybody who says they can't do something. You know, I've ever since I first saw you on Leopard Leatherworks being a moderator, like I've just kind of followed you along your journey from that to having your own YouTube channel. You're just an amazing human being.
Thank you very much. It took a lot for me to start my channel, but it wasn't easy. I don't always believe in myself, but then when I hear things like that, and I hear people say that I help them with this or that, then I feel like I'm in the right direction. I'm on the right path, because I've been searching my whole life for what I was meant to do. Because I've been in the chair and I went to school for pharmacy. I didn't do the work for reasons. And so I've always thought, well, there's got to be a reason that I was put in this position. And I think I found it. So thank you. I do work hard, and hearing people acknowledge that means a lot to me. So thank you. That almost made me cry.
Well, we really appreciate you having us on tonight, Tammy. I'm glad we were finally able to join on anyway.
Yeah, I am so happy that you decided to come. I'm sorry it took me so long to believe it or not, I didn't do it. I'm still
It's okay.
That's a wonderful thing
Yeah.
that you've been booked.
It sounds silly to say it like that. It sounds like I'm the big person. I don't mean that. It's just that I finally started doing top up the people because I'm like, this is ridiculous. So thank you for coming. I do appreciate that a lot. But
Yeah.
I will be watching your channel, and you're welcome back anytime. Anytime you want to come back, you're welcome. If there's anything you want to say before we leave, that feel free to do so. With one of my mods, make sure that you link your channel and the Facebook page, please. I'd appreciate that.
No, we just want to say thank you for having us. We had a good time. I know we went over a bit, but it's nice to talk. And I know she loves to just talk about her job and mental health. So it is nice to just chat about everything. So
Yeah. Well, you know, that is, the mental health is one of the things I wanted to touch up on. I didn't know you would be able to talk about it, but I'm glad that you did.
yeah, and you guys hopefully will be seeing more of her mental health stuff. Hopefully, our goal is hopefully to have her mental health corner, because that's what we're going to call it, set up in the next month or so. So you'll start getting a weekly video of just her chatting about something mental health related from week to week. So.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that. Thank you for coming, Melissa Marie, and thank you, Eve and Dick, for putting those links in. I appreciate that.
And we love you, Timmy. We love your channel. Yes. We love your lives. We love your guests. You have some awesome guests on your channel that have some pretty remarkable stories, and I think you do a lot for mental health and educate people, and I just thank you for all you do as well.
Yes.
Thank you. I tried that. I started the channel to help people. It wasn't the diamond painting. That's the icing on the cake. That's just an outlet to do it. So thank you very much. But guys, be sure to tune in tomorrow night if you can. And I'm going to have Ren, the owner of the Diamond Art Emporium.
Wow.
Tomorrow night it's at 7 and not 6. And I can't remember why we did that. But it's at 7. And then Saturday, I am going to do a redraw for 2 of the prizes that were not claimed. And again, that's at 7. I don't know why 7, but it is. And it's going to be a quick, redraw. It's not going to be a full-blown live. So that's what's coming up. And thank you guys for coming. And thank you all for doing what you do, the TikTok and everything, the Instagram and the YouTube. I never know where they're at. I just know that when I'm talking to them, they're somewhere on the platform. Thank you all. And guys, just remember what I always say. Love yourself, love others, let others love you most of all. And I'm going to tell you like I always tell you, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I'm living proof. I have thought from the day I came out of the womb, and I'm going to thought till I draw my last breath. Because that's me.
You are.
So you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will see you on my next live in my next video.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Love you. Bye, guys.